What is the FCC Part 97 definition of a beacon? A. A government transmitter marking the amateur radio band edges. B. A bulletin sent by the FCC to announce a national emergency. C. An amateur station transmitting communications for the purposes of observing propagation or related experimental activities. D. A continuous transmission of weather information authorized in the amateur bands by the National Weather Service. C. An amateur station transmitting communications for the purposes of observing propagation or related experimental activities. Why should you not set your transmit frequency to be exactly at the edge of an amateur band or subband? A. To allow for calibration error in the transmitter frequency display. B. So that modulation sidebands do not extend beyond the band edge. C. To allow for transmitter frequency drift. D. All of these choices are correct. D. All of these choices are correct. How soon after passing the examination for your first amateur radio license may you operate a transmitter on an amateur radio service frequency? A. Immediately. B. 30 days after the test date. C. As soon as your operator/station license grant appears in the FCC's license database. D. You must wait until you receive your license in the mail from the FCC. C. As soon as your operator/station license grant appears in the FCC's license database. When is it permissible to transmit messages encoded to hide their meaning? A. Only during contests. B. Only when operating mobile. C. Only when transmitting control commands to space stations or radio control craft. D. Only when frequencies above 1280 MHz are used. C. Only when transmitting control commands to space stations or radio control craft. Which of the following is an example of automatic control? A. Repeater operation. B. Controlling the station over the Internet. C. Using a computer or other device to send CW automatically. D. Using a computer or other device to identify automatically. A. Repeater operation. Which of the following restrictions apply when an unlicensed person is allowed to speak to a foreign station using a station under the control of a technician class control operator? A. The person must be a U.S. citizen. B. The foreign station must be one with which the U.S. has a third-party agreement. C. The licensed control operator must do the station identification. D. All of these choices are correct. B. The foreign station must be one with which the U.S. has a third-party agreement. Which of the following is a common repeater frequency offset in the 2-meter band? A. Plus or minus 5 MHz. B. Plus or minus 600 kHz. C. Plus or minus 500 kHz. D. Plus or minus 1 MHz. B. Plus or minus 600 kHz. Which Q signal indicates that you are changing frequency? A. QRU. B. QSY. C. QSL. D. QRZ. B. QSY. What does the term traffic refer to in net operation? A. Formal messages exchanged by net stations. B. The number of stations checking in and out of a net. C. Operation by mobile or portable stations. D. Requests to activate the net by a served agency. A. Formal messages exchanged by net stations. What weather condition would decrease range at microwave frequencies? A. High winds. B. Low barometric pressure. D. Colder temperatures. What property of radio waves is often used to identify the different frequency bands? A. The approximate wavelength. B. The magnetic intensity of waves. C. The time it takes for waves to travel 1 mile. D. The voltage standing wave ratio of waves. A. The approximate wavelength. Which of the following propagation types is most commonly associated with occasional strong over-the-horizon signals on the 106 and 2 meter bands? A. Backscatter. B. Sporadic. C. Delay absorption. D. Gray line propagation. B. Sporadic. What is the source of a high-pitched whine that varies with engine speed in a mobile transceiver's receive audio? A. The ignition system. B. The alternator. C. The electric fuel pump. D. Anti-lock braking system controllers. B. The alternator. Which of the following would reduce ignition interference to receiver? A. Change frequency slightly. B. Decrease the squelch setting. C. Turn on the noise blanker. D. Use the rate control. C. Turn on the noise blanker. Electrical power is measured in which of the following units? A. Volts. B. Watts. C. Ohms. D. Amperes. B. Watts. How many milliamperes is 1.5 amperes? A. 15 milliamperes. B. 150 milliamperes. C. 1500 milliamperes. D. 15,000 milliamperes. C. 1500 milliamperes. What is the basic unit of inductance? A. The coulomb. B. The farad. C. The Henry. D. The ohm. C. The Henry. What happens to current at the junction of two components in series? A. It divides equally between them. B. It isn't changed. C. It divides based on the value of the components. D. The current in the second component is 0. B. It isn't changed. What electrical component is used to connect or disconnect electrical circuits? A. Magnetron. B. Switch. C. Thermistor. D. All of these choices are correct. B. Switch. What class of electronic components uses a voltage or current signal to control current flow? A. Capacitors. B. Inductors. C. Resistors. D. Transistors. D. Transistors. What is component 4 in figure T2? Its symbol is two repeating series of humps with a pair of parallel lines between them. A. Variable inductor. B. Double pole switch. C. Potentiometer. D. Transformer. D. Transformer. Which of the following is a common reason to use shielded wire? A. To decrease the resistance of DC power connections. B. To increase the current carrying capability of the wire. C. To prevent coupling of unwanted signals to or from the wire. D. To couple the wire to other signals. C. To prevent coupling of unwanted signals to or from the wire. Where is an RF preamplifier installed? A. Between the antenna and receiver. B. At the output of the transmitter's power amplifier. C. Between the transmitter and antenna tuner. D. At the receiver's audio output. A. Between the antenna and receiver. What can you do if you are told your FM handheld or mobile transceiver is over-deviating? A. Talk louder into the microphone. B. Let the transceiver cool off. C. Change to a higher power level. D. Talk farther away from the microphone. D. Talk farther away from the microphone. What instrument other than an SWR meter could you use to determine if a feed line and antenna are properly matched? A. Voltmeter. B. Ohmmeter. C. Iambic pentameter. D. Directional wattmeter. D. Directional wattmeter. What is probably happening when an ohmmeter, connected across an unpowered circuit, initially indicates a low resistance and then shows increasing resistance with time? A. The ohmmeter is defective. B. The circuit contains a large capacitor. C. The circuit contains a large inductor. D. The circuit is a relaxation oscillator. B. The circuit contains a large capacitor. Which of the following types of emission has the narrowest bandwidth? A. FM voice. B. SSB voice. C. CW. D. Slow scan TV. C. CW. Which of the following are provided by satellite tracking programs? A. Maps showing the real-time position of the satellite track over the Earth. B. The time, azimuth, and elevation of the start, maximum altitude, and end of a pass. C. The apparent frequency of the satellite transmission, including effects of Doppler shift. D. All of these choices are correct. D. All of these choices are correct. Which of the following methods is used to locate sources of noise interference or jamming? A. Echolocation. B. Doppler radar. C. Radio direction finding. D. Phase locking. C. Radio direction finding. Which of the following operating activities is supported by digital mode software in the WSJT suite? A. Moon bounce or Earth moon Earth. B. Weak signal propagation beacons. C. Meteor scatter. D. All of these choices are correct. D. All of these choices are correct. How would you change a dipole antenna to make it resonant on a higher frequency? A. Lengthen it. B. Insert coils in series with radiating wires. C. Shorten it. D. Add capacitive loading to the ends of the radiating wires. C. Shorten it. What is the electrical difference between RG58 and RG8 coaxial cable? A. There is no significant difference between the two types. B. RG58 cable has two shields. C. RG8 cable has less loss at a given frequency. D. RG58 cable can handle higher power levels. C. RG8 cable has less loss at a given frequency. What should be done to all external ground rods or earth connections? A. Waterproof them with silicone caulk or electrical tape. B. Keep them as far apart as possible. C. Bond them together with heavy wire or conductive strap. D. Tune them for resonance on the lowest frequency of operation. C. Bond them together with heavy wire or conductive strap. When should members of a tower or team wear a hard hat and safety glasses? A. At all times except when climbing the tower. B. At all times except when belted firmly to the tower. C. At all times when any work is being done on the tower. D. Only when the tower exceeds 30 feet in height. C. At all times when any work is being done on the tower. What is the definition of duty cycle during the averaging time for RF exposure? A. The difference between the lowest power output and the highest power output of a transmitter. B. The difference between the PEP and average power output of a transmitter. C. The percentage of time that a transmitter is transmitting. D. The percentage of time that a transmitter is not transmitting. C. The percentage of time that a transmitter is transmitting.